Hey everyone, isn't that what YouTubers are supposed to say when they start videos? Cupcake here. You saw me join forces with the little poop machine to take over the Emily Awards for face with our cute faces. Step 2, take over the Emily Awards for eyes. We've got eyes, and you can bet we know how to use them. In fact, Belle used her eyes and got sidetracked the other day when Mommy took her to the dark side. I reminded her that if we're going to make this cuteness broadcast, not beauty broadcast, I want those eyes to be used for things like slow blinks or anything cute that might help us take over the big one's Instagram. Now that you've learned more about our mission, here are the Emily Awards for Eyes. Hi everybody, welcome to the Emily Awards for Eyes. I wish I could say I was being trendy with this super sleek ponytail, but I really just need to wash my hair. I've got a lot of new favorites and just some products that I am super passionate about. So just to jump right into eye primer, I don't think I've really had a high-end eye primer that I've become super attached to throughout the whole year. I mean, I've tried plenty of good ones, but you know, ever since Too Faced Shadow Insurance started to get kind of watery on me, even new tubes of it were getting all separated and kind of weird. I just haven't liked that as much, and what I've been using non-stop, as you've probably seen in tutorials, is the Milani eyeshadow primer, and it would look like I should be finished with this, but there's still a lot left, and I'm happy to say it has never changed in consistency. It's maintained a really great creaminess. It's like not too thick, not too thin. When I put eyeshadow, powder shadows on top of it, it really clings. I think helps them stand out more, but really I find I've got great staying power throughout the whole day when I use this, so that's why I've used this so much. For best cream shadow, I'm a huge fan of the stick formula, so both high-end and drugstore are stick type cream shadows, and for high-end, even though I have tried some really amazing high-end cream shadow sticks this past year, the winner again has repeated so many years, and it is the Mally Evercolor shadow sticks, and this year in particular, they really solidified themselves as a favorite in my mind because Mally came out with a couple of matte ones, a matte brown and a matte black, and let me tell you, this stuff wears incredibly in the waterline, if you want to put it there. It smudges out great, but once you've smudged it and allowed it to set, it really doesn't move at all, and the same goes for the really beautiful shimmery shades. And just packaging wise, I love that they're retractable. They're not huge in terms of circumference, so like if you do want to use these on the lower lash line, you know, it's not massive. It's still something you can really control. For drugstore cream shadow, I was kind of struggling on what to choose here because I've got a lot of things I've really been enjoying, but then I just thought, you know, if you could recommend one thing to people, what would it be? And it truly is, instead of just recommending a whole line of products, there is one thing that I really think you should have, and it is the Milani Shadow Eyes Stick in Almond Cream. And I know Jordana makes something similar, so if you find Jordana's matte creamy shadow stick, that it's pretty much the same thing, but this is the one I happen to be reaching for a lot, and I love this so much because nothing wears as well in terms of a nude liner in the waterline. And I know you might think, well, it's big, it's kind of clunky to get in there, and you know, you do have to be a little bit careful, but it lasts so well as that brightening inner rim lower liner. But where the jumbo size is really handy is if you want to use this as that creamy nude base all over the lids. So I have two high-end winners for best small palette. I really, this year for the Emily Awards, I've really tried to pare it down and not have as many ties as I normally have, but here I just couldn't choose. I slept on it for like 3 straight nights and still couldn't choose. So first one that I want to mention is the Clinique Black Honey Affair palette. While I love this particular palette, this is also a statement about just the quality of Clinique's eyeshadows. I think they're great. They've got more of these little palettes that are laid out like this, and I would encourage you to try them out. I plan to try more, but this particular one, I do love the purples that are in here. It's really fun to pop a purple in with these neutrals. This is the Black Honey shade right here. That's fabulous worn, really packed on or sheared out. They wear a really long time. Has anyone else found that with Clinique shadows? I mean, are these kind of an unsung hero in the makeup world? Because I think the texture is so smooth and creamy, but even to swatch them on your hand, it's like, wow, that really locked in there and stayed a long time. I love the compactness of this little palette. This was one of the things that I took in my bag during our Christmas travels and just used it all the time because it was so quick and basic. And the other favorite from this year is from Benefit, and while it has been a new product to me in the past year, it's not a new product in their line, but it's called the Big Beautiful Eyes Eye Contour Kit. These shades are gorgeous. I mean, it is a beautiful palette. It comes with a concealer actually here, which you could use as an eye base face or whatever. But as far as the shadows go, they look so simple, but this is kind of like a beautiful rosy taupe type shade that I love working with. It's the kind of look that leaves you thinking, wow, my eyes look great. It's not really all about the eyeshadows, but just the finished look. I really love this. For drugstores, I look back on past winners for small palettes. I mean, there's so many drugstore quads and stuff like that out there to choose from. And for several years now, Wet n Wild's Silent Treatment Trio has won, and I still think that's great. But this past year, particularly the end of the year, I have been looking for quick solutions, like something that can come together and give me a quick look that's finished, but something that I don't have to be as careful with. And again, it's Wet n Wild, but it's the Walking on Eggshells trio that really has stood out to me this year. I love just taking this kind of pearly pinky shade on the lid, this in the crease, this is the highlight. It's so no-brainer, but yet these shades are very pigmented. There are many great options for eyeshadows from this line, but this one for me, just especially over the past few months, when you need something quick, this is a great one to reach for. Okay, best large palette, high-end. This is always really hard because so many high-end brands come out with amazing palettes, and again, this has been like a 3-time winner, and for very good reason. It's the Lorac Pro Old Faithful, the #1. Someone's asking me for just one palette suggestion for high-end. This is the most basic. This is the thing that you need that can be an accessory to all other palettes because it's basic mattes, basic shimmers, but still some really fun shades. This gold is amazing. This garnet shade, beautiful. The textures are fabulous. They're really pigmented, easy to blend. You know, even though it's a new year, I can't look past this palette and not see the value in it. I think it's just a great, great product. But tied with that, I've got to mention the Smashbox Masterclass 3 palette. This thing is a chunk. It is going to take a lot of damage to actually break this thing, but I so love this shadow formula. Smashbox Photo Op eyeshadows are just the bomb. You've got your classic neutrals, still with some fun shimmery pops in there, and then you've got all these colors to play with. 3 blushes, plus this is the Smashbox step-by-step contour kit that I raved about in part 1 of the Emily Awards. I just love working with this. You just pop up these clear covers, which I think are super handy. I mean, if you're a makeup artist and you're working on people, imagine just laying this out on your table, and there you've got like so many great shadows at your disposal. I used these for my look today, actually. I used this gold all over the lid. I used, what bronzy shade here? This shade called Sienna in the crease, a little bit of the brown in the crease as well, and then lower lash line is a mix of lilac and violet, is that right? Yeah, these two purpley shades just on the lower lash line, and I was just really happy with the way it came out. Oh, and I put papaya, this corally shade, just kind of right on the border of the eye look as well. So there's just so many fun, unexpected little things you can do when you've got this open, just sitting in your lap, and it's just like eyeshadow playtime. For drugstore, best large palette, it's not something you're gonna walk into a drugstore and find, but going by price, I think this qualifies, and it is the Coastal Scents Revealed 2 palette. Really, really loved the release of this palette. I think the Revealed 1 is great. That's filled with Urban Decay Naked 1 and 2 dupes. I've laid out tons of those on my blog, but the particular shades that are in here are like my shades. I love these. Yummy, yummy. I love these matte berry colors here. Tons of beautiful like rosy gold shimmers, and even if you eliminate some of the rosy and berry tones, you're still loaded with beautiful, just basic neutrals. There's a great black in here. These kind of like coppery warm colors are awesome. So there's just so much to be discovered in this palette. If you haven't tried anything from Coastal Scents yet, I would say give this palette a try, and you will see what I've been raving about for years in terms of the quality of their shadows. It's really great. I still like to give an award for the best overall just shadow formula, you know, like not looking at just one particular item, but overall the kind of shadows that the brand puts out. And for high end, I've got to give it to the Smashbox Photo Op formula, and this has won before a couple years back and has definitely made its way back to my attention this year with the release of some great palettes, especially over the holidays. The small and large on the Rocks palettes, this Masterclass 3 shimmery palette. I mean, this Photo Op eyeshadow formula, that's what you want to be looking for. It's the same as the formula in their little trios as well. It's creamy, it's easy to work with, it's soft. The mattes are every bit as good as the shimmery shades. They have put out some palettes like full exposure, double exposure. I recently got double exposure. It's not the same. These shadows, if you swatch these in at an Ulta or a Sephora, these are not the Photo Op formula that I'm talking about that is found in the Masterclass palettes, the On the Rocks palettes that many of you may have gotten for Christmas. These are kind of touted as a wear 'em wet or dry kind of thing. I'm not saying some people wouldn't enjoy this palette. It's not like it's that bad, but the Photo Op formula is what is the amazing stuff in my opinion. And then for Best Drugstore Eyeshadow, a multi-year award winner, Wet n Wild. I mean, what has been better in the drugstore than Wet n Wild? These are so great. I mean, I've seen other brands improve, but nothing's really as pigmented as Wet n Wild. Nothing has been the bang for the buck that Wet n Wild has been. And so I think I make this request every year, but Wet n Wild, please just make more. Make more that's regular stuff in your line, not just the limited edition that everybody has to go chasing after all the time. Are you with me on that, people? Let's get more regular line Wet n Wild products like Comfort Zone, like Pedal Pusher, like Walking on Eggshells, more of those that we can find in our drugstores at all times. For Best High-End Eye Pencil, a brand new thing that I have been so happy with, and it was a gift from Kristen. Came in a little set actually. These Marc Jacobs eyeliners. These pencils are freaking awesome. I mean, I have never tried an eyeliner pencil that I can like stipple on my hand. Like there's that dot where I just put that. I applied hardly any pressure, and then I mean, you could actually dot this stuff on from the stick. Eyeliner pencil is not always my chosen form of eyeliner for the reason that you've got to sometimes press too hard and it's just not silky smooth enough. This is like silk. It goes on so easily. Upper lash line, inner rim, don't get me started. Kristen said it and I tried it myself and I can confirm this lasts so well in the waterline, and it still looks really black. That's the thing. It's not just like, okay, it started black and then by the end of the day it was still there but it faded. No, this looks so full color on me all day. The black shade is called Blacker, kind of spelled like lacquer, and this is the most outstanding one to me. I feel like this is even creamier than some of the other colors that I've tried that have like a little bit of shimmer to them. Those are still gorgeous and still a great formula, but if you need a great, amazing black eyeliner, this is awesome. For Best Liquid Liner, I do not have a high-end favorite, but my drugstore favorite is freaking fantastic, and it's from Jordana. It's the Color Envy Liquid Liner. I have become so attached to this brush tip, and this has lasted me so long, by the way. I'm going to have to order more from Jordana's website. That's the one downside. At least other people's Walgreens may be a little better stocked than mine, but I first found these at my Walgreens, and that was when they were first released, and then never to be seen again. So I don't know if they'll ever come back, but they are on Jordana's website. But this fine brush tip is so quick. It's probably some of the quickest liquid liner that I've had to work with. And I love Milani's, what's it called? Ultra Fine Liner in black vinyl. That stuff wears like iron and I love it, but it's like a little felt tip. And I feel like I've just become so comfortable with the brush tip now that I can just get it on my lash line much more quickly. For cream and gel liner, again, I don't have a high-end favorite, but my drugstore favorite is dominating, and it's the Essence Gel Liner in Midnight in Paris. I have had this for a good couple years now. Nothing is dry in there. I've used a lot of it. I've opened and closed this container many times, but you're not gonna see those little fault line cracks in here. I mean, it's just so super rich and creamy still. It is my favorite cream and gel liner to work with. I love it with the Real Techniques fine liner brush. That plus this is an unbeatable team. All right, mascaras. High-end mascara. I've tried many high-end mascaras that have been great this year, but the winner this year is the Estee Lauder Little Black Primer, because this is the amazing accessory to any mascara. And if you haven't seen my Express review on this, if you're considering trying this, please watch my review over on the Express channel where I demonstrate it going on and how it can be layered with other mascaras. It's really been awesome for me. The main point that I should get across is that it can hold curl. And I think I have talked down my own lashes for years thinking they're not long enough, they're not thick enough. Really, the main issue is that they won't hold a curl so you can see them. They just want to point downward. This I can put on and it actually keeps the lashes upturned no matter what I put on top of it. For drugstore mascara, I was going through my drawer looking at all kinds of things that I've used and loved this year, and not loved as well. But really the thing that I've repurchased more than any eye product I've probably mentioned here in this video, CoverGirl Clump Crusher Water Resistant, my must-have for the lower lash line, and that's important. You've got to be able to trust whatever you're putting on there to not transfer down below the eye, and this has just been great for that. The brush is really, I think, easy to maneuver. It's got a gentle curve to it, but I find myself putting it on and continually flipping it around. I feel like I can get in there pretty easily with it. Short bristles, a lot of them, kind of closely packed. That's, I think, what keeps the lashes from clumping together or developing any clumps of product on them. And even though it's water resistant, it's not the huge pain in the butt to remove that a lot of other water resistant mascaras are. This is fine if you want to put this on upper lashes too. I mean, if it's a really important situation and crying is a possibility, this is what I'll put on both upper and lower, but on a daily basis, lower lashes, can't miss with this. I still love Maybelline Lash Discovery, but I think this is even more hardcore staying power. Favorite false lashes, this is a two-time winner, and it's my Red Cherry number 43s that I've got on right now. They're long, they're wispy, they're flirty, they're big, beautiful, special occasion type lashes. I mean, if you're just wanting everyday type lashes, go with some Demi Wispies, go with some 110s or 53s or something like that from the Salon Perfect line at Walmart. But if you want kapow lashes that can also be reused so many times, the lashes themselves only cost like $2.99, I think, on the Lady Moss website. Buy yourself up bundles of these. They're beautiful. For my favorite brow product, at the tail end of the year, I started testing out Too Faced Bulletproof Brows, and I actually like the dryness in the consistency. I think it works well in brows. It might right now actually be bordering on a little too dry. So I think my favorite is still the Too Faced Brow Envy Kit. I love this so much. I've used up a lot of this blonde shade. I use the blonde and the brunette. The wax that I put on my brows first is kind of what allows the powders to cling to your brows, and that's just, I think, my preferred way to fill in my brows because I don't need a ton of fill-in, but this just kind of helps even them out. And then I love this highlight shade too here. It's kind of a creamy pink highlight, and this is really great up under the brow to make everything look a little more finished. You got a few tools in there as well. I use the angled brush and the little spoolie a lot, not so much the tweezers, but this kit is a winner, and if you see this in the old packaging, maybe discounted at TJ Maxx, snatch it up because it's basically the same stuff in there. And I do have a favorite for a drugstore brow product, and it is the NYX Control Freak Eyebrow Gel. There's not a lot that needs to be said about this other than the strongest hold of any eyebrow gel I've tried, and when you pull the brush out, it's not too goopy. It doesn't over goop the brows with gel. I mean, it just, you don't have to even mess with it. You can take this right through your brows. You don't need to dab off any excess. It's just perfect. And that is the Emily Awards for Eyes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this year. This has been a lot of fun, a great roundup of products. Next up is gonna be lips, so don't miss it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.